Live from Babane Hospital Hill, Eswatini TV, a very good morning. Welcome to today's Kusile Breakfast Show. We really appreciate you tuning in once again. It is a brand new week. Sibuya kuphela sonto lenkulu ya Good Friday. Singena nje kuleli viki nanathi si brand new njengalo leli viki kulandzela phela ukuthi inkosi Zulwini ifele tono tetfu. I hope sonke ke besiyile emasonfeni kanzikena noma ngabe bawungayi esonfeni. Ngethemba ukuthi bawubukela kubomabona kutho umsakazo wetfombe Eswatini TV lobe usakata iEswatini National Easter Sunday Service. Njengoba ke sibonile sonke sisemakhaya sukelwa lamuhla njengoba kulholiday siyangena Kusile Breakfast Show thina sikaye kuyophumula silethela wena your perfect recipe to start your day lomhla ekuseni ku7 kubumbana yona insimbi yesikhombisa sitakuphathela kona ke lamhla ehlelweni tindzaba lapha ekhaya indzaba leti ichamuka ngephandle kwalapha eveni kanye ke nepolice report sidabe sichumana nemchumaniso emaphoyisa nesive superintendent Phindile Vilakathi hlala nathi ke nalomhla ehlelweni sabahlola emarket uma sibuya sida uthatha indzaba lapha ekhaya.
Why should we pay our TV license?
The content on our local television is actually more up to date. The industry is enhanced.
It is a criminal offense not to pay your TV license and attracts a fine of 500 emalangeni or 6 months imprisonment.
And the industry is definitely blooming, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what we have for you. But we'll be right back just after the break and we'll give you more of Miss V.
Pay my TV license. That's why I can enjoy the benefits of an enhanced industry and keep track with recent transformation.
Mommy, who pays for a TV license and what are they paying for?
The owners of TV set and gadget with a tuner like DVD set have to pay.
Pay your TV license at NetBank with the details provided on screen. Or use your cell phone via the mobile money pay. You could also visit your nearest post office and pay there. Pay your TV license via Eswatini Mobile Imali. Any TV device retailer can purchase a license to trade. Pay your TV license and enhance the industry.
Welcome back and good morning once again. Sibuka kontona ke tindzaba lapha eveni kulesikhathi sanyalo. Silo inkosi Mswati wesithathu sithi ngekufa nekuvuka kwaJesu kusho ke kuvuseteleka kwesive semaswati kabusha. Iphefumula enkonzweni yekukhumbula kuvuka kwaJesu lebeyikade isenkundleni yesive kasomhlolo. Imbube emhlaba ithelive kumele lingesuki kuNkulunkulu ngaso sonke isikhathi. Lenkonzo beyikade ingenelwena indlovukazi umhlekazi kanye nenkosi yemaZulu, inkosi Misizulu kwaZwelithini.
Ekubeni live leSwatini likhumbule kufa kwaJesu Kristu nakafela donode bantfu ukuthi basinziswe. Sive siphindze sahlanganyela nemakhosi yaso kugubha lusuku lwekuvuka kwaJesu Kristu. EmaKristu avakalise aphindze akhombise imfokoto lenkulu ukuthi abemdzibi munye nesilo inkosi Mswati wesithathu kanye nendlovukazi mhlekazi kulenkonzo lebeyikade ibanjelwe enkundleni yesive kasomhlolo. Emakhosi abekade yasingethwe kuba khona wenkosi yesive sakaZulu inkosi Misizulu kaZwelithini. eMaswati kube kulapho wadumisa khona umdali ambonga ngaloku lawendela kona asho nokuthi haleluya uvukile. Lenkonzo beyikathe ingenelwe nangemakhosikazi esilo Sigo Ndvunankulu kanye nalabanye labakhulu embusweni welive. Letinkonzo setibuya kwesibili ukuthi tibe nguleto letitayelekile kubeni ticale kubuya kahle eminyakeni lophelile. Lokhu kulandzela ukuthi umhlaba lokufaka ekhathi leSwatini wawuhlaselwe ngomkhuhlane we-COVID-19 ngeminyaka wa 2020 na 2021. Lekungilapho emakhosi ngenxa yolthando lanalo ngesive sawo amisa imikhosi yelive kude sive sitawukuvikeleka. Nalonyaka ke emakhosi anikete emakholwa litfuba lokuthi abemtsibi muye kule nkonzo. Emakholwa ngekuhlukana kwawo aphumile kungenela letinkonzo. Silo inkosi Mswati wesithathu sithi live leSwatini aliyawusuka kuNkulunkulu ngoba uNkulunkulu ulethwele etikhathini nasetimeni tonke.
Uhambe nathi Jesu.
He has walked with us.
Akakasilahli.
He has not left us behind.
Ku-COVID.
In COVID,
akakasishiye
he
Jesu
never
Christ.
left us behind.
Abe nathi lapha.
He was with us in the nation.
Kubonga bulikhuni.
In all difficulties,
Abeka nathi Jesu.
he was with us.
Singamkhohlwa simthini.
How can we forget him?
Singathi ngaphi amagama lesingabonga ngawo.
What words can we use to thank him?
Ukhombisa ukuthi siyabonga kuko konke lasendele
To
kona
show
Jesu.
him we love him and thank him.
Ukhombisile amandla akhe ukuthi
He has
makhulu.
shown his great power in
Ngeke
us.
la kangwane siqinisa.
That is why we as a nation we are showing
Lesingakwenda ukuthi sitithobe phambi kwakhe.
to humble ourselves before
Sisho
him
ukuthi asiyokhwesha
and
kuJesu.
say we will never leave you, O
Noma
God.
ngabe sekumnyama kunjani.
Though deep, dark and gloomy,
Noma ngakunetivunguvungu letinjani.
whatever storms that may
Noma
come,
simo sesibita ukuthi kunjani.
whatever situation we may
Songa
face,
simemete ukuthi noma simo sibita ukuthi sekunjani.
let us all shout and say whatever
Siyawuhamba naye Jesu.
we will walk with Jesus.
Iphefumula kule nkonzo imbube emhlama iphindze futhi yathi kuvuka kwaJesu Kristu kusho kuvuseleleka kwelive leSwatini.
We are calling for a renewal.
But we are calling for renewal.
Ukuthi umhlaba wonke la kulikhuni
That the
khona.
entire
La
globe,
kuna Jesu Kristu
where Jesus
kunekuthula.
must come through.
La kuna Jesu kunekuphila.
When there's Jesus as
La kuna
Lord,
Jesu kunenjabulo.
when there's Jesus
La kuna
joy,
Jesu
when
kunempumelelo.
there's Jesus
La kuna
prosperity,
Jesu abantu balahla tonke tibhamu.
when there's Jesus people stop
Babuke
their
Jesu ngoba
guns.
Jesu ngumvuli nemvalo wetindlela.
Because Jesus the
Konke
opener of
lesinako
ways.
sikumikisa kuJesu Kristu.
We bring them to Jesus today.
Nanamuhla sisho njalo siba kangwane.
We are saying so as an
Sawu
association
siyabonga
nation.
uNkulunkulu.
We are saying thank you, Lord.
Siyabonga nemso wakho lonawo.
We thank you for your grace.
Indlovukazi Mhlekazi seyikhuthate eMaswati ukuthi afune Jesu angafuni tintfo tasemhlabeni.
Masi lapha bazalwane stofuna lunyawo lwaJesu.
As we are gathered here today, we are seeking the right path for us where Jesus leads us.
Kufuna sihambe ngelunyawo lwaJesu.
We must follow after the footsteps of Christ.
Funa simfune Jesu simfunisisise.
We must seek for Christ and diligently seek after him.
Ma usangakamtholi ke mzalwane hamba lamuhla umfune.
If you have not received him, today I urge you, find him today.
Inkosi yesive sakaZulu, inkosi imisizulu kaZwelithini lebe ingenele tinkonzo teliphasika kwekucala ngca ngemuva kokubekwa esihlalweni ivetile ukuthi emafu ayo nayithatha kuba inkosi asho ukuthi sive semaZulu seyiyawusihola ngelibhayibheli.
iBhayibheli lami lokuqala lesizulu elibhalwe ngokohlelo lwesiZulu ngiqala ukuba neBhayibheli elibhalwe ngesizulu ngaliphiwa ubaba ngaliphiwa umdlukumbane uvukudla amadoda namhlanje lisasekhona amen namhlanje isilo sakwangwane ngokunjalo siphinde lokho okwayenziwa isilo esebuzile sangipha kulokhu iBhayibheli elibhalwe ngokohlelo lwesiSwati ngiyakwazi ke ungiphendulile uNkulunkulu ngalokho uthe kumina kuneBhayibheli lesiZulu, lesiSwati nelesilungu. Angikwazi ukumbalekela.
Ndvunankulu welive umhlonishwa Cleopas Dlamini ubongele eMaswati ukuthi abe nelithuba lekuhlanganyela nemakhosi awo waphindze wabongela eMaswati ukuthi inkosi yakaZulu ibe ingcenye yaletinkonzo. Bafundisi baphe emakholwa livi lenkosi. Livi lekucala lethulwe ngumfundisi Jabulane Sikhonze. Lesibili lethulwa ngumfundisi Moses Warren. Lesithathu libuye kumfundisi Sanele Sibanze. Kwase kuthi lesine lethulwa ngumengameli Khanyakezwe Vilakati. Lesihlanu livi lifundwe ngumbishop Bhekinkosi Gumede. Kwathi umfundisi Simo Mabuza wabonga livi. Kanti ke lesithupha lebelile kusonga lethulwe ngumbishop Estembe. Kuphinzeke kwathandazelwane live kanye namakhosi. Umthandazo wona bewukade uholwa ngumbishop Paulos Shabangu. Edinsabeni kubika Pholile Maziya enkundleni yesive kaSomhlolo.
Bazalwane lebe imbatho letahlukahlukene temabandla abo bagabe nalokwahlukene kusachubeka umkhosi weliphasika kalobamba phathi letimbatho tisho lokuningi enkholweni yabo kanti ke letinye tisiprofeto. Labazalwane bebaxoxisana nelibandla letindzaba ngekuthi tishoni tembatho tabo kanye naloko libe bakugabile kusachubeka letinkonzo.
Bazalwane bahlukahlukene bahlobile ngeyima-uniform abo ngelisondo kute ukhonda inkosi enkundleni yesive kaSomhlolo lapho kuchubeka khona umkhosi weliphasika. Labanye ke babonakele bafakele kwahlukahlukene kuyo kwe-uniform yabo kanti ke labanye bebagabe tinkomishi, tipunu, tinketane, labanye bagabe nabo sochaka netimfengwane. Libandla letindzaba ke libakhulumisile ukuthi lokhu labakugabile ekwehlukana kwawo ingabe kushoni. Labanye ke bathi kusiprofeto kanti ke labanye bathi ingxenye yetimbatho tabo ke esontweni. Labazalwane bathi ngule babonakala ngako ukuthi babazalwane.
Asho ukuthi emaketane langa solo ngikholwa ngejeliko. Eketane le nangifaka lona nje mina ngiva ngijabule ukuthi cha namhlanje esontweni.
Hayi ngingamandla la jeliko lawa. Bese lokho kuba tiprofit lokho. Lenjazz. Liketane kusiprofit usala ijeliko liketane kulifakile kepha nalokunye lokwala la kimi kuba profit edvelako bese ngiyathatha ngiyagaba.
Uniform isho ukuthi simakhora ichaza ukuthi simakhora uniform ala ngokugabile kwaleli sonto vele
maketamo nathi isimo nje sisikhanze sigajwa kuleli sonto vele nje bathi simela simo sebolukhulu
maketane kusho ukuthi lesiprofito zalengilosi.
Kanti ngakulokunye bathi bathokotile impela kuba semkhosini weliphasika bahlanganyele nemakhosi elive kukhonda inkosi Jesu Kristu levukileke ngelanga lesithathu ekufeni tekulilanga lelisonto. Edindzabeni ngiyongena emsipini nasimuva shongwe sikaSomhlolo.
Bazalwane lebe bakatse ke bangenele tinkonzo tekufa nekuvuka kwa sonini nanini kuleli kanye ke netivakashi lebetikatse titoti chaza kuleli abawuvala umlomo ngemphatfo lenhle labayitfole eMaswatini basekuleli. Labanye bacale kuphuma ekuseni ngelisonto kanti bebasolo baphuma nakuhlanganiswa lombiko.
Kulandzela ukuthi emaholide kufanele kuvuka kwaJesu Kristu sekangasemaphethelweni ngelisonto sive lesibakathi sivakashela kuleli sibonakala siphume egedeni lasengwenya kanjalo neMaswati bekathi avakashele evini labomakhelwane nawabonakala sekangena sikhulumisene nalabanye lokufaka ekhazi bazalwane bekathi bethe inkozweni eliphasika kanye nalabo bekathi bativakashele bathatha ungcebeka nemndeni yabo labathi bajabule kakhulu kuba kuleli.
Bengilangazelele lokuyokhonza nabanye abazalwane.
Ngiva kancane ushumayelo wangala.
Ucela isikhathi seGood Friday ukuthi ngizwe ngivuseleleka ukuthi ngoba ku-Good Friday nami ngiyafisa ukubambisana namanye amakholwa endaweni yangaphesheya.
Ngijabulele nje ukuza endlunkulu sekudala sagcina useloku savaleleka ngama-COVID.
The environment itself, there's a cool environment, peace. You can see that it's different from our country.
And nature is beautiful, mountains beautiful. I like that place so much.
They speak Siswati because Swati is very fun.
Umbiko lwakhishwa litiko yathi sekhaya ngalesihlanu ekseni bokhomba ukuthi babe ngeduli 19000 bantu labaphume bangena egedini lasengwenya. Egedini ngalavumisa baba ngeduli kwa2000, egedini ngalomahasha bese khona baba ngeduli kwa1000, egedini lasemandanga baba ngeduli kwa1000 nakhona. Kanti nangemsembuluko kubheka ukuthi bachubeke baphumele ngene emagedini njengaloku ngalesibili kubheka ukuthi babuyele ematohweni eDintsabeni kubika Fortune Dlanga Amandla inasimuva shongo segedini engwenya.
Tinsola boya tishiye emakhala ngetulu kwelishumi etegesi yendzaweni yasevele ezizweni ngaphansi kwenkhundla yasengwempisi kulandzela ukuthi ke tebe tintsambo letisuka epalini lagesi tingene emakhaya letakhamuti tithi yativanga lutfo nakujutshwa letintsambo njengaloku ke betilele titse hu.
Inkampani yamagesi kuleli Eswatini Electricity Company icale kulungisa nekubuyisela letintsambo letiletsa gesi emakhaya ngemgcibelo letakhamuti tasevele ezizweni tithi lokucala benteke ebusuku ngalesine nakuzabuka kuza kwangalesihlanu.
Bathi nakuchapha 12 nje kwasinyaka ilo gesi zangaba samboni sasesibona sekucishile. Umntwana ke kejakelo bekalele lakha sendlini uyasho lokuthi weva ukuthi wewe ngoba besisanza kulala.
Mina bekhona ngilele landlini kudelele ngakuva befike ebusuku nje labantu silele lekubo 12:30 nami ngivuka ekseni ngithi ngibeke emanti kuthe gesi ngithi ngiphumela ngaphandle ngikhanza live limnyama lonke
kulabantu abang16 kude nje namunye liweva uma kulabanye abantu bebasekhaya endlini kujuju bangeva ukuthi kukhona kuguda lokungajwayelekile ekhaya.
Cela ukuthi Nkosi yami kulaba labagangako Nkosi yami siyacela ukuthi asebeme lokuganga ngoba kuyawuba buhlungu ngoba ngenteka kubudwa kwanza sithi ihlobo tethu kuyawuba buhlungu nasesekuthiwa sebabambekile ngoba lana uyabona lelicala vele leli limatima kakhulu.
Inkampani yamagesi kuleli ihlangene etakhamuti takulendzawo lapho khona ifike yafundzisa abantu ngekubeka kwetintsambo telitfusi lokubonakala kukhula ngakulokunye imetamu yokutfola ukuthi sekukhona yini lababoshiwe kulandzela lokucala ikaba imvumelelo ngesikhathi kuhlanganiswa lo mbiko eDintsabeni kubika Fortune Dlanga Amandla ngekavele ezizweni.
Bosomabhizinisi labancane libe bathengisa emkhosini weliphasika bathi ibhizinisi ihambe kahle kakhulu beyiloloma inzuzo bayibonile ke kusachubeka umkhosi weliphasika. Labo somabhizinisi bebakhulumane betindzaba talomsakato ukuthi ibhizinisi ihambe njani kulama holiday.
5 rand 10 rand 5 rand 10 rand.
Bosomabhizinisi labancane libe bathengisa kusukela uqala umkhosi weliphasika esontweni lesive kalobamba nasenkundleni yesive kasomhlolo lapho lo mkhosi uphethe khona bathi abakhali nani njengoba basibhizinisi beyihamba kahle impela emakhasimende bathi ke abasekele kusukela kuqala umkhosi bayajabula alabakutholile.
Sambele kahle kakhulu yebo kona liyashisa Maswati eke kahle imali lephala kusala ngoba supporta njengoba ngibona nje inhliziyo imhlophe nke njengoba ngibona nje ngimelele elinye itingokhula hamba kahle kamnanzi njani.
Angeke ngisho mlungu ukuthi ahamba njani ngoba mina ilanga lami lokuqala namuhla kumbe kulabanye bangasho bona athi bekubahambela njani but so far mina ngibuka ngathi shothi bekubahambela kahle ngoba kuyahamba nangalanga.
Ngiyacabanga ukuthi kukhona lokuhambile ngoba nayiphuma le moto bekunengane.
Ungconywana nje akufani naseminyakeni.
Ayihamba kahle akufana naseminyakeni ophelile. Noma tinto bathingakabuyeli nje simeme. Kodwa nje ayikungcono lo mnyaka.
Labo somabhizinisi ke bathi umkhuhlane we-COVID-19 lebesolo uchubeka emhlabeni na7 ubathikamenti impela njengoba besolo bantu bangakhona ukuhlanganyela nabo ke bangakhonike ukuthi bangathengisa bathi ke lo nyaka bacubungile impela ngekwehlukana kwabo ebhizinisini eDintsabeni ngingiyane Msibi nasimuva shongwe sankundleni yesive kasomhlolo.
Kusukela mhlalulunye kulenyanga lesetulu bonke labatawenda lucwaningo lwentfutfuko kutawuba ngilabo labanemvumo lechamuka itiko letekuvakasha kanye nemvelo basebandleni labocwephesha lelitawubekwa litiko letemvelo. Lokho kuvetwe ngumchumanisi wetemvelo Kusile Mhlanga ngesikhathi yachaza kabanti ngemigomo lemisha etelicwaningo lwetemvelo.
Iphalamende yelive ngenyanga yengongone eminyakeni lophelile iphasise imigomo letawubukati indzaba telicwaningo yentfutfuko kuhambisana netemvelo leyatiwa ngale Environment Assessment Regulations. Umchumanisi wetemvelo ebandleni letemvelo lapha eveni belusile Mhlanga utsi kulomtsetfo lomusha setawuncipha takhiwo tentfutfuko letakhiwe etindzaweni lengabe tivikelekile njengematete.
Imvuna yetekuvakasha kanye netemvelo ingakhona kokuthi kwetindzawo itisho kokuthi leti tindzawo leti environmentally sensitive lapho khona intuthuko kungakameli yengeke khona. Lokhu-ke kufaka ekhathi konke ema-developments latakwenteka kwembili ku-April 1 okusho ukuthi mase kwakhiwa ema-township abantu bafaka ticelo mhlawumbe tethi bafuna kwakha ama-township bajube titandi noma bentele sekulapho khona sekubaba khona tindzawo letashiwo ukuthi lena angeke seyize ithengiselwe umuntu ngoba angeke ize ikhona ukudevelopeka esikhathini lesitaba. Kulo nomdzala umthetho ukuthi umnikati we-development lesimbiza ngokuthi ngi-proponent nguyele kumele ukuthi ende le-environment assessment bekayenta-ke basidwa ngama-consultants kepha lento kwenteka botholakala ukuthi labantu labalapha enta leli cwaningo kwanza kuthi bantu labangawufundzeli lo msebenzi ngalokho ukuthi lo mthetho bongekho specific. Kulo mthetho lomusha-ke sokhuluma ngetindzaba-ke tek-accredita labo labenta lucwaningo lwe-assessment.
Belusile uvetile nekutsi labo labenta lucwaningo lwentfutfuko netemvelo ababhalise kuleli bandla nakulo libandla labocwephesha kungakapheli tinyanga letisitfupha. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Samkeliswe Khoza ngasimuva Shongwe eLuyengo.
Live laseSwatini lilahlekelwe imali lelinganiselwa etigidzi letisitfupha nengcenye temalangeni 6.2 billion ngenxa yemkhuhlane ye-COVID-19. Zamcolo Eloise kanye nemsindvo loke wabakhona eveni ngeminyaka wa-2021. Lokhu kucuketfwe ngombiko lokhishwe litiko letekuhlela umnotfo nentfutfuko. Bekuthi-ke letimo letintsatfu tiwulimete kanganani umnotfo welive kusukela kumnyaka wa-2020 kuye kumnyaka wa-2021.
Litiko letekuhlela umnotfo nentfutfuko selikhipha umbiko lohlatiya kutsi tehlakalo netimo letiphutfumako eveni letendeke ngeminyaka wa-2020 kuyofika kumnyaka wa-2021 tutsikabete kanjani kanganani futhi umnotfo welive. Lo mbiko lowatiwa ngale economic impact of recent catastrophic events in Eswatini ubuke timo letintsatfu lokungumkhuhlane i-COVID-19 Zamcolo Eloise kanye nemsimvo loko wabakhona lapha eveni ngeminyaka wa-2021. Lo mbiko uthi umnotfo welive ngaphambi kwaletimo letintsatfu buvele untengantenga ngetimo letahlukene letifake ekhatsi somiso kulokunye. Letimo letintsatfu kubikwa kutsi tibite live noma live lilahlekelwe imali lelinganiselwa etigidzi letisitfupha nengcenye temalangeni 6.28 billion emalangeni. Ngesigaba lesingaba yiminyaka lemibili live ngenxa yemkhuhlane i-COVID-19 ikakhulukati kulesiwombe sekucala semkhuhlane i-COVID-19 lilahlekelwe imali letigidzi letine nengcenye temalangeni 4.378 billion lotsikabete tinhlangosi letinyenti tentfutfuko. Ngemkhuhlane i-COVID-19 lapha eveni lo mbiko uyaveta kutsi kutekuthengiselana ngaphandle live lilahlekelwe imali lengu-2.536 billion emalangeni ngenxa yetincabekelwane letabekwa kutekuthengiselana. Kulokunye lo mbiko uthi kulomsindvo loko wabakhona lapha eveni ngeminyaka wa-2021 lapho kwalinyatwa khona takhiwo kwatsikabeteka nemabhizinisi live lilahlekelwe imali elinganiselwa ku-1.553 billion emalangeni. Zamcolo Eloise yena lowashiya imigwaco yelive lelibanga lelingu-774.3 kilometers nemabhloho langemashumi lasihlanu nakutsatfu 53 alimele umonakalo wakhona ngetimali ulinganiselwa ku-192.8 million emalangeni. Imigomo netinhlelo labese uyatisukumisa uhulumende kumelana naletimo ifaka ekhatsi sikhwama sekuvusa emabhizinisi lalimala ngesikhathi kunemsimvo lapha eveni i-Reconstruction Fund nenhlelo lokuhlangabeta bosomabhizinisi labancane labashaka kakhulu ngemkhuhlane i-COVID-19 kuletinye tinhlelo. Etindzabeni Eswatini TV kubika Samkeliswe Khoza Sempapane.
Kutemdlalo mengameli wenhlangano yemidlalo wesibhakela lapha eveni Webster Lukhele uthi bayinhlangano bebafise ukutfola labo labachuba imidlalo yesibhakela emajaji labuya ngaphandle kwakuleli emidlalweni yema-National Championships alenhlangano lachubekile kule mpelasonto kodwa-ke ngekuba bede kahle timali abakakakhoni. Lukhele bekakhuluma ngemuva kwekuthi licembu lasezulwini lingagculiseki kahle nakuthiwa Andiswa Sibanze wemathapha nguye loncobile nakadlala naSibongiseni Shongwe.
Khalile Maguduva umdlalo wesibhakela emtsimba Shisanyama lapho khona inhlangano emidlalo wesibhakela beyibamba imidlalo yayo ema-National Championships alonyaka. Ngelisonto bese kudlalwa emancama lemidlalo. Nanoma lemidlalo iqhubeke kahle kodwa-ke umengameli walenhlangano uyakhala ngekusekeleka kwalemidlalo.
Angijabule kahle kakhulu because of ama-sponsors. Asengibekise nje side kahle boRafaela nemajaji. La umdlali ukhanza ukuthi sometimes not always uyaluza aluzuse ukuthi ngoba sidihlobo sonke lana kunokuthi ngirotate lamajaji kahle kuze kutothola i-fair decision but nje so far so good akusinganani enike ngiva buhlungu lokuthi asikade tholi kahle timali dekuthi lo mdlalo swende kahle because bengifisile kuthola amajaji South Africa.
Kanzi kulomunye umdlalo lobo semkhathini kwa-Andiswa Sibanze naSibongiseni Shongwe balandzeli labe bede kutobukela lo mdlalo abakajabule ngesinqumo semajaji kanye namqeqeshi wakhe. Kodwa Andiswa yena uthi ubona adlale kahle.
Angase ngoba nema-doubts ingase ngoba nema-doubts ngifile ekuhambeni kwale game kwase beyishubile but no bengibhiliva ukuthi hayi ngiyendela enough.
Kanzi kule midlalo kubonakala labanye abadlali besibhakela labatiwako bakuleli bakhala phasi lokufaka ikhathi Zweli Dlamini lokhale phasi kumukelo Dlamini. Lobikela umsakade Eswatini TV temidlalo ngilinda Dlamini emtsimba Shisanyama ezulwini.
Umceceshi welicembu leManzini Wanderers nyanga yezizwe Hlophe uthi-ke lithemba lisekhona ukuthi licembu lakhe lisengayivika inkemba nanoma bakhale phansi ku-Young Buffaloes ngamagoli lam3-1. iManzini Wanderers inamaphuzu la17 emidlalweni lama21 leyidlalile kunembiko.
Siswati sithi akulahlwa mbeleko ngakufelwa. Lawo magama lashiwo umceceshi welicembu leManzini Wanderers nyanga yezizwe Hlophe ngemuva kokuthi licembu lakhe likhale phasi ku-Young Buffaloes lokwente ukuthi liqhubeke lihlale enzaweni yesithathu nawuchamuka emsilweni ku-MTN Premier League. Kanzi sekusele imidlalo lesihlanu ukuthi kuphele yona lenzebe.
Isitawusebenza ukuthi nje fanele siye ejimanapo sathenda silokusomabho sikhona ibhola ngoba nabujabulisa nama emanabo esimakhona amabili emakhona thix sisapractice emkana yatinje into but be disappointed name isithende sindi but yabo bro which I'm for which I just speed said and believe we start to say them.
Kanzi kutawudzinga umthandazo lonemandla ukuthi Young Buffaloes ikhanze iGreen Mamba phindze iyendlule kule midlalo lisele ngekusho komceceshi wayo Young Buffaloes Mandla Stofu Dlamini.
Unabo kusita but vele mina ubema yamendlela esikwendekani nabanye angithi kodwa nyathi tangmeda nabe itokumeda ka 12 mina I'll try to connect every point like Tamgaba. Ngibonga ukuthi tempulumpilo nguyele ngicabanga ukuthi sekumele ngihlale njalo ngibida ngoba ngene ngithagethe ukuthi every point lechambalo ngithathe ngasaleli.
Kanzi emidlalweni lolandzelako iManzini Wanderers itawutholana neRoyal Leopard bese kuthi Young Buffaloes itholana neThambuti, Green Mamba itholana neMadlenya, Babana Swallows itholana neThabankulu Kellies, Babana Highlanders neManzini Seabirds, Monene Pirates neNsingizini North Spurs, Denver Sundowns neSeven Dreams. Bikela umsakade Eswatini TV temidlalo ngilinda Dlamini eMbabane.
Setephetha-ke tindzaba lapha ekhaya ngaleyo ndzaba yeManzini Wanderers neYoung Buffaloes. Sidaba hlola etimakethe uma sibuya Superintendent Phindile Vilakade usipha umbiko ukuthi basebenze kanjani kulwa nebucala kule mpelasonto lesibuya kuyo ungayinzawo.
Do you remember the spinning thing? This is us. This picture represents what we did. We were there when coronavirus wreaked havoc in our population. Together with other stakeholders, we formed the first line, controlling the spread of the unknown and unseen enemy of the people. Anxious ourselves, we collected dead bodies countrywide. At the time when no one wanted to come near dead bodies of loved ones, we did care for our fellow citizens. Thank you, the people of Eswatini and teams of first responders.
Ngonelo muhla sibongeke ukuthi solo unathi lapha ehlelwe njengoba besishilo ke uma siya emarket ukuthi uma sibuya superintendent Phindile Vilakati uzipha umbiko ukuthi basebenze kanjani kule mpelasonto lesibuya kuyo kulwa nebucala ukuthi nje babonene kodwa imiphefumulo lesiyiluzile dingodini detimotolo mphephethe sekuvusele lihlelweni lomhla ekuseni ingabe nisebenze kanjani vele kule mpelasonto ithini ipolice report longasipha yona.
Sivusele Mnguni, sivusele nakuso sonke isive sakangwane ekuseni lesibukela Kusile breakfast show. Mpelasonto yethu ibe ngilele lesibili eyinze siyakhumbula ukuthi besiku emaholide ekufane kuvuka kwaJesu. Siyadinga ukuthi ngalamalanga lawa sive siyabuya kutonke tinkhalo site kuyo isifundo sakaHoho la sifike sibe nemthandazo khona sicelebrate khona kufane kuvuka kwaJesu. Siphinde sihlanganyele nemakhosi kuwo lo msebenzi uze kube kunyalo sisede imibiko lekhona lemibi noma lephambana lokusebenza sinike sinemaphoyisa siyayisisho ukuthi umsebenzi uqala ngemibiko yakhona uma ngabe kude umuntu lolimele ngengoti thide siyayisithi umsebenzi uhambe kahle sibili noma kude kulimala kwempahla noma kulahleka kwayo impahla siyayisibona ukuthi umsebenzi ube impumelelo kwanyalo siseteke igigaba letikhona siyathemba ukuthi njengaloko umsebenzi ungapheli inyana namhla sibheke kujika kwaso sive sibuyele etindzaweni tabo solo simane sibukile ke simaphoyisa sisemthandazweni ukuthi lihambe kahle leli butho noma ke labazalwane kuyofika etindzaweni tabo kulapho ke umsebenzi siyawuthi sophele khona lokwendekile ke kuletinye tindzawo kube khona igigaba laphana lapha kulandzela ngokuthi vele size phela noma bekunalo msebenzi noma lo mthandazo longaka besikhona lesisele emuva emakhaya naso sibhizi-ke kwehla kwenyuka mhlawumbe labanye baye emaholideyini kumbe labanye bavakashela dona tihlobo sibeke netingoti letihamba nemphefumulo saphinde sabala labo labasilahlekele kakhulukazi etandleni talabanye bantu njengalokhu lapha esipofaneni kunamakelo neminyaka lengu-36 nosishiyile emhlabeni kulandzela ukuthi agangade kuloyo lasithandzana naye loko-ke loyo kunene sowukhona etandleni temaphoyisa ukuthi otiphendulela ngalobo bucala kanti esihluthe khona sinemajaha lamabili la ngingaboni ngasolinye wagcina-ke loneminyaka lengu-27 asishiya emhlabeni usengaboshwa-ke lomunye-ke lothuzeka ngokulenzana noko-ke njengomuntu lowatiwako siyathemba ukuthi utawutholakala masinyane kanti-ke tingodini zemgwaco silahlekelwe ngumbala leminyaka lengu-7 nokumfana lapha esiteki ngemva kokushayiswa imoto eBig Bend khona indoda leminyaka lengu-36 ishayiswe imotolo legcine ingaseni leso losicela sisemaphoyisa ukuthi sive asisibambise kumthola lo ekunene lowende leyo ngozi ukuze kuthi naye totiphendulela emthethweni lapha-ke emgwacweni lomkhulu losuka lapha emkhathini wesiphambanweni nahluthi endzaweni lekuthiwa kusesiganganyaneni kube netruck imini truck liluze icontrol yawa yacisha-ke bantwini baseDuma yaphinde futhi yabuya isikwabo la sigcine silahlekelwa imphefumulo lelishumi khona labasihlanu besifazane nalabasihlanu emadoda ingodi-ke lebebuhlungu kakhulu le siyabona ukuthi kunesikhathi kunebantu mhlawumbe abakathokoti kahle nesithandaza-ke nathi sinemaphoyisa ukuthi uNkulunkulu aze amane abathobe imiphefumulo yabo. Nalapho-ke labaselashwa esibhedlela siyathemba ukuthi umdali uyawuselula sandla balulame kuloko lokubaphethe nakulento ezinhlungu lapha kuzo. Ngalokujalo-ke sithi-ke sive siyancika ngokuthi asichubeke nekuphatha kahle. Siyathi ukuthi namhlanje abaningi batalo babuyela ngasemisebenzini noma ezindaweni la bahlala khona esikhathini esiningi. Siyacela ukuthi sive senkosi asichubeke nekunaka zonke izimpawu zemgwaco sihambe ngelitubane elifanele sibuke ukuthi imoto iphilile yini naye umshayeli abe kulona sesimeni esikahle asatawungenela wona umgwaco. Iviki leli lesibhekile ngokuthi litawuphinde libe lihle kuwo wonke umuntu simfisele nani kuwo umsakazo wetithombe kusebenza kahle kulezi inhlelo siyabonga.
Phephetha siyabonga kakhulu isikhathi sakho nanoma nje siva kungathi ungenwa yimikhuhlane nokho nje siyabonga ukuthi udikhandlile kungena namhla ehlelweni namhla ekuseni usiphe wona umbiko ukuthi nisebenze njani kule mphela sonto nalabo ke labalahlekelwe imiphefumulo nabalahlekelwe ihlobo tabo kule mphela sonto siyabancistela kakhulu asibahlola imakethe uma sibuya sibuka indzaba lechamuka ngaphandle kwalapha event.
Pay your TV license quickly and easily with MTN Momo. Simply dial *007 *3# and select option 8 for TV license. Enter your national ID number as your reference and the amount you wish to pay. Then enter your PIN to confirm your payment. Once your payment has been made, you will receive a confirmation SMS of your payment. If you're a first-time payer, you get another SMS for your TV license. So legalize your entertainment from the comfort of your home. Pay your TV license the easy and convenient way with MTN Momo.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back and good morning again. Let's take a look at our leading stories that are coming from the international side. An Italian tourist was killed and 5 people were wounded in a car ramming in Tel Aviv on Friday that came hours after 2 Israeli sisters were killed in a shooting attack in the occupied West Bank.
The latest deadly incident as Israeli-Palestinian tensions reach boiling point, this time in Tel Aviv. Late Friday, a car plowed into a crowd of people on the esplanade, killing an Italian tourist and injuring several others. Israeli police shot dead the driver when he pulled a gun. It comes after an attack in the West Bank in which 2 Israeli sisters were shot dead in their car near the settlement of Hamra. Their mother was left seriously injured. A manhunt has been launched to find the perpetrators.
We will settle the account with whoever tries to hurt citizens of Israel and will bring them to the cemetery or to prison after investigation. Anyone who tries to turn the days of Israel's holiday into days of mourning will regret this matter greatly.
On Friday morning, residents of Gaza and southern Lebanon awoke to airstrikes. Israel's retaliation to 34 rockets fired from Lebanon, 9 of which made it through the Iron Dome defense system, as well as several more from Gaza. Israeli officials accused Hamas, which runs the Gaza Strip, of orchestrating the attacks. The unrest peaked on Wednesday when Israeli police stormed Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque to remove worshippers who had barricaded themselves inside. It came during the holy month of Ramadan and on the eve of the Jewish Passover holiday. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu called for calm at the mosque compound, which is also the holiest site in Judaism, known as Temple Mount. But Netanyahu also vowed he would hit back against any act of aggression. Israeli police and army reserves have been mobilized after Friday's attacks.
Israel conducted rare airstrikes in Lebanon on Friday, a sharp escalation that has sparked fears of a broader conflict, with the international community calling for calm from all sides. It comes after a recent increase in violence between Israel and Palestinians, including Israeli police raids at the Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem that outraged much of the Arab world.
It's the highest flare-up of tensions between the two countries since their 2006 war. Israeli military conducted airstrikes overnight in southern Lebanon, a stronghold belonging to its arch foe, Lebanese militant group Hezbollah, sparking fears of a broader regional conflict emerging.
While we were home, we heard the sound of the airstrike, and we came here to shelter. Here behind me, the power lines were still on fire. As you can see, here there are no military positions for Hezbollah, Hamas or Palestinians.
According to Israel, the air raids are retaliation for a barrage of 34 rockets fired from Lebanon into northern Israeli territory on Thursday, which it blamed on Palestinian militant group Hamas. But Hezbollah, which has close ties with Hamas, has announced its support for all measures that Palestinian groups may take against Israel after Israeli police stormed the Al-Aqsa Mosque during Ramadan, triggering outrage in the Arab world. The two countries are still enemy states with no diplomatic relations. The border territory is under the aegis of the United Nations Interim Force, which said Friday that neither side wants a war. Tensions continue to rise, however, particularly with Hezbollah's historical ally Iran, and Israel has warned the Iranians not to interfere.
The Iranians are expanding their influence in the West Bank and Gaza and trying to consolidate in Syria and Lebanon. We will not allow the Iranians and their agents, Hezbollah, to harm us.
Faced with a fear of escalating tensions spiraling out of control, the international community is calling for calm in the region.
Thousands of Israelis gathered on Saturday for a weekly demonstration against the government's contentious judicial overhaul plans, despite security concerns stemming from a surge in Israel-Palestinian violence.
Crowds waving the blue and white Israeli flag again gathered in Tel Aviv, vowing to keep the pressure on. For the past 3 months, tens of thousands of people have protested against Benjamin Netanyahu's plans to reform the country's judicial system, which has for the moment been paused. Saturday's demonstrations took place despite heightened security worries after a resurgence of violence. Israelis were on edge after a car ramming in Tel Aviv a day earlier that killed an Italian man and injured several tourists. The attack followed a shooting near a settlement in the occupied West Bank that killed 2 British-Israeli sisters and wounded their mother. The demonstration began with a prayer for the victims, but protesters said they would not be stopped by security fears.
Security is one thing, but the reform is another, and they might try to use this to take advantage of us and try to bring these strikes to a close, but we're not going to let them, and we're still going to come here and say that, loud and clear that we will not let this reform pass.
The government says the reforms, which would allow Parliament to overrule many decisions of the court, are necessary to restore a proper balance between the judiciary and elected officials. Critics say it will remove necessary checks and balances and undermines the country's democracy. The proposals have sparked Israel's biggest domestic crisis in recent history.
French prosecutors are seeking to try 14 people over the beheading of a teacher by an Islamic extremist in 2020, a crime that shocked France, a source close to the case told AFP on Friday.
It was an act that shook France. On the 16th of October 2020, Samuel Paty, a history and geography teacher, was stabbed and decapitated near his school in the Paris suburb of Conflans-Sainte-Honorine. The killer, Abdullah Anzarov, was an 18-year-old Russian of Chechen origin who had become radicalized. He murdered Paty for showing cartoons of the Prophet Muhammad in class. The Office of the National Anti-Terror Prosecutor is seeking trial for 14 people over his killing. The most serious charge, complicity in a terrorist murder, has been recommended for 2 of Anzarov's friends. They're accused of helping him to obtain weapons and accompanying him to the school on the day that Paty was murdered. The prosecutor also recommended charges of association with terrorists for 6 other adults. They include a radical Islamist preacher and the father of one of Paty's students, both who insulted the teacher on social media. 6 other minors are also in the spotlight, 5 of them for identifying Paty to his killer, as well as the student at the center of the tragedy. She is accused of slanderous denunciation after she lied about being told to leave the classroom while Paty showed the cartoons. She was not in the class at the time. Magistrates will decide if the 14 are to go to trial. They face sentences ranging from 5 years to life if found guilty.
The United States Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas defended himself on Friday over accusations that he accepted years of luxury travel trips from a Republican billionaire, saying that it was personal hospitality that did not need to be registered.
Cruises on super yachts, private jet flights, high-end accommodations. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas has been accepting luxury trips from top Republican donor Harlan Crow for more than 2 decades. The details of his jet setting laid out in an investigation by ProPublica. Under federal ethics laws, Supreme Court justices are required to disclose gifts they receive each year. But in a statement, Thomas defended his actions, claiming he had followed appropriate guidelines.
Harlan and Kathy Crow are among our dearest friends. As friends do, we've joined them on a number of family trips during the more than quarter of a century we've known them. Early in my tenure at the court, I sought guidance from my colleagues and others in the judiciary and was advised that this sort of personal hospitality from close personal friends who did not have business before the court was not reportable.
Democrats quickly called for an investigation into the conservative judge's actions.
This is beyond party or partisanship. This degree of corruption is shocking, almost cartoonish. Thomas must be impeached. Barring some dramatic change, this is what the Roberts Court will be known for: rank corruption, erosion of democracy, and the stripping of human rights.
This isn't the first time Thomas's conduct has come under scrutiny. His wife, Ginny, a lobbyist and activist, was involved in Donald Trump's crusade to prove wrongly that the 2020 presidential election had been stolen from him. He was urged to recuse himself from any election-related cases. Thomas was appointed by President George Bush in 1991. He was confirmed despite accusations of sexual harassment from former assistant Anita Hill. He has always denied her allegations, calling himself a victim of a high-tech lynching.
Former President Donald Trump was arraigned on 34 felony charges earlier this week, accused of falsifying New York business records to conceal his role in paying hush money to an adult film actress before the 2016 election.
Never in American history has a former president faced criminal charges, much less one who is attempting another run for the White House.
It's an insult to our country as the world is already laughing at us.
Donald Trump was charged this week with falsifying New York business records to conceal his role in paying hush money to an adult film actress before the 2016 election. In the week since the announcement of the indictment, Trump raked in $12 million in campaign donations, suggesting the criminal charges may be helpful to him, at least in the short term.
It really creates an aura of victimhood around him, which is something that Republicans have lately made a hallmark of their party and a hallmark of their electoral strategy.
After his indictment, polls showed Trump widening his lead over his likely Republican challenger, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Should he become the Republican nominee, in November 2024, Trump will likely face President Joe Biden, again, just like in 2020, which could mean good news for Biden, as it likely would galvanize the Democratic base and most independent voters.
Biden is the kind of candidate who isn't going to generate millions and millions of votes because of his personality. He's going to generate those votes because they can't stand the alternative.
Trump will make his first court appearance in December. If he is found guilty and still wins the election, there's nothing in the Constitution that would bar him from being commander-in-chief. While this case is unlikely to land Trump any jail time, other criminal investigations, including on his role in efforts to overturn the 2020 election results, could lead to more serious charges and potential imprisonment.
I don't know how one could be effective as President of the United States while being in a jail cell, but there is nothing in the Constitution that would keep somebody from being President of the United States and being incarcerated at the same time.
But elections are not decided only by personalities. Other than the economy, which is looking increasingly positive for Biden, the incumbent, there are the so-called wedge issues that motivate American voters.
Issues like immigration and crime, which are very important for Republicans, that motivate that base, or issues like social equality, women's reproductive rights, safe democracy, which are all issues that motivate Democrats. We saw those issues motivating voters in the midterms this last year, and we expect to see it in 2024 as well.
Biden has not officially announced he is running for re-election. He'll likely do it when he doesn't have to share the political spotlight with Trump.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky on Wednesday wrapped up his first official visit to Poland since the start of Russia's full-scale invasion of his country. On the one-day visit, the Ukrainian leader thanked his Polish hosts for standing, in Zelensky's words, shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine, in what he described as a historic relationship. Here's a report.
The hero's welcome for Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Warsaw, his first trip to the Polish capital since Russia launched its war on Ukraine. Glory to Ukraine, the crowd at the royal castle chanted the slogan symbolizing Ukraine's resistance to Russia invasion. When the Ukrainian leader walked to the podium, he responded, "Glory to heroes." He addressed the crowd in both Ukrainian and Polish.
Slava Ukraini! Glory to Ukraine, glory to heroes, greetings to Warsaw, greetings to Poland, the great nation of Poland, the great nation of Ukraine. We are shoulder to shoulder together on this square, united by the spirit of freedom.
Zelensky thanked Poland for its leadership in supporting Ukraine, emphasizing his view that it is crucial to act now to stop Russian aggression.
It is important to continue to be united. When the battle needs artillery, it has to be provided. When the victory needs tanks, its roar sound must be heard on the front line. When independence needs air support, don't look at what will be the reaction in Russia.
Poland's President Andrzej Duda spoke in support of President Zelensky's plea to the world, pointing out that Poland is setting an example of solidarity and partnership.
Ukraina potrzebuje wsparcia.
Ukraine needs support, needs the supply of modern military equipment. Poland is and will be one of the leaders of such support. We know well those who defend their home, who defend the homeland. They need support there, and there is no time for waiting.
Analysts at the Kiel Institute for the World Economy, a German think tank, say Poland is the world's fourth most generous provider of overall support to Ukraine relative to its GDP, after the Baltic states, all in a strong partnership with the United States.
Firstly, there was no Ukrainian-American-Polish relations before this war. Now this triangle is a fact. Triangle in arms, triangle in economical support for Ukraine, triangle in political support of Ukraine. There won't be any travel of Mr. Zelensky to Washington without Polish support, and there won't be any transport of arms without Polish support.
Poland has committed more than 270 tanks to Ukraine. During the visit, Poland pledged an additional 4 MiG fighter jets, paving the way for the Western countries to provide Ukraine with combat aircraft. Zelensky's visit on April 5th comes as Ukraine prepares for major counter-offensive. The only way to stop the war, says Przemysław Grojewski, advisor to the Polish Foreign Ministry, is for Ukraine to win it.
There is the common conviction in Poland that the only way to end the war is to defeat Russia. Not because it's easy, but because if Russia is not defeated, the war will not be ended. Russian imperial ambitions know only those borders that are drawn by the military power of the nations threatened by them.
He believes that to avoid the next war, the West must deploy forces to the border of Ukraine and Russia after Ukraine recaptures its territory.
Leaked Western documents with information about the war in Ukraine appear to have been doctored by Russia to minimize their own losses and exaggerate Ukraine's. Here's a report.
Photographs of English-language documents bearing secret classification markings appeared on Twitter in recent days. Analysts say the documents appear to be real, but the information in them was doctored before being released via social media.
It's a leak, of course, from which the ears of Russian propaganda and special services can be seen, mainly because of the number of losses, which is absolutely ridiculous. 17,000 Russians and 75,000 Ukrainians. This mistake exposes them completely and shows that the main reason of this was to convince the Russian public that only 17,000 soldiers died.
The classified documents detail American and NATO efforts to build up Ukrainian forces ahead of a planned spring offensive. They contained information on weapons deliveries from the West, as well as the training and readiness of Ukrainian troops. The documents do not discuss actual field strategies and are 5 weeks old, providing more of a snapshot in time than a battle plan, analysts say. Analysts also say the edited leak was meant to make Russians and the world believe that the relationship between Ukraine and its Western partners is weak. Not so, says Ukraine.
We had very constructive cooperation with our partners. Partners understand exactly what, how, and at what stage we are. Because it is essential, we must be in sync to receive specific tools for certain stages of the war. The partners must understand why, in what quantity, and what tools we need at different stages of the war. We inform our partners on all aspects.
Analysts say it's hard to measure the impact of the document's release on short-term fighting in Ukraine.
We have come to the end of our program today. We are hoping that you enjoy this last day of the Easter holidays. Kusasa-ke ishayile abantu abaningi babuyela emisebenzini. Siyethemba lokho ukuthi-ke ndawuchubeka nibukele umsakazo wetfombe Eswatini TV sanilethela naletinye izinhlelo. From myself and the rest of the Kusile Breakfast Show crew. Asibonane ngalesibili nisale kahle.
Let's live it up and party and have cracking good fun. When it comes to edutainment, DSTV's #1.
Is everybody ready to go, go, go?
We've got the zaniest characters to transport you away. The party is cracking, so why not come play? You're gonna love it. We've got so many channels and a ton of new shows, like Disney and Nickelodeon, where anything goes. So live it up with DSTV. We bring the fun. You know we're #1.